In today's world, we usually consider elephants to be the giants of the land.
They are, after all, the largest living terrestrial animals on Earth, with fully grown adults being impervious to attacks by wild predators.
On the other hand, while large birds do exist, like the ostrich, we still tend to think of them as being rather small.
Opposite to the titanic elephants, so to speak.
And for hundreds, and even perhaps thousands of years, this has been the way of thinking.
Elephants equal big, and birds equal not so big.
However, in reality, this wasn't always the case. In fact, once upon a time, off the coast of what is today Italy, birds outgrew elephants.
This bizarre situation began with a genus of elephant known as Palaeoloxodon.
It included two of the largest elephant species to ever exist.
The first one being Palaeoloxodon pneumaticus, which was the largest elephant species ever, which could be as heavy as 8 Toyota Corollas.
And then on top of that, it also was home to the second largest elephant species as well, Palaeoloxodon antiquus.
This giant, commonly referred to as a straight-tusked elephant, populated large swaths of Europe during the Middle and Late Pleistocene.
See how these sites connect across the globe? From the mammoths here, all the way to the very first humans found in these caves in South Africa.
During this time, they were the largest terrestrial animals around Europe.
But not all of their descendants would be destined for such greatness.
As roughly 500,000 years ago, a colony of these elephants ended up on Sicily and Malta.
As the water receded, a series of islands formed a natural bridge, fundamentally altering the connection.
However, eventually the water levels rose again, and these elephants soon found themselves marooned.
These titans, stranded with limited resources and no direct threats, soon experienced something called,
Eventually leading to the emergence of the smallest elephant to ever live, Palaeoloxodon falconeri.
as the smallest of all elephants. The falconeri was substantially smaller than its giant predecessor.
With males standing at 3 feet or 1 meter at the shoulder, while females reaching just 2 feet and 8 inches or 0.8 meters.
At this height, both genders were exceptionally lighter than even the smallest elephant species of today, the Borneo pygmy elephant.
Such a dramatic decrease in body size would truly have made this species quite the sight.
But they were not the only ones that underwent extreme changes on the two islands.
Or they were joined by a host of other animals that were also impacted by island life.
Not all of these animals became smaller. Due to the lack of predators, some animals were now able to freely grow to their heart's content,
resulting in numerous cases of island gigantism.
This included giant owls, cranes, tortoises, and not to mention the largest dormouse paleontologists know of.
But all these paled in comparison to the swan that called these two islands home, Cygnus falconeri.
The Cygnus falconeri is actually the largest swan to ever exist, and was an imposing 7 feet or 2.1 meters long when extending its body.
And its wingspan was even more impressive, coming in at 3 meters or 9.8 feet, making them about 1/3 bigger than the large. However, due to its hollow bones, this giant swan was lighter than the dwarf elephant, but it outsized it in height and length depending.
This contrast is kind of similar to what happened on the well-known Hathag Island, where a species of pterosaur was able to out...
However, in Sicily and Malta, the relationship between Cygnus falconeri and Palaeoloxodon falconeri,
with the only exception being that the giant swan may have occasionally ate small aquatic animals, as seen in their modern-day relatives.
Yet, that doesn't mean there was no potential rivalry, as they both filled similar niches.
With the height advantage the swan possessed, it was able to reach higher levels of vegetation than the elephant could.
Despite this, the odd battle or two was still probably unavoidable, as both animals would have crossed paths many, many times.